All right. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Asian session. I'm your host for tonight's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for all of you being here with us this evening as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in the Forex market. So without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions, grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we continue to do an awesome job of participating and engaging. So if everybody's all set, you can hear me loud and clear, please drop me a 1 in the chat and we can get this session started. All right, I see the ones coming in. Good evening, everybody. Appreciate the early participation. Let me make sure that everybody has control over their microphones as always, right? Just out of respect for everyone else. If you're not asking a question or making a comment, let's make sure that we do our best to keep our microphones muted. Give me 1 second here. I'm just about set up. And all right, I think we are all set. So let me get out of this screen. Ryan, good evening, sir. How are you?
Good evening, bro. I'm doing well, man. Been a good day. How about yourself?
It has been a good day, man. It's been a great day, right? Every day, make it a great day, right? Don't hope for it, wish for it, make it a great day. Doing pretty good.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So let's take a look at it, man. We got the U.S. job openings unexpectedly rise. Okay, so some of the news from the day: the number of job vacancies in the United States unexpectedly rose by 358,000 and reached 10.10 million in April. A rebound from a near 2-year low of 9.74 million in March and surpassing market expectations of 9.37 million. Most jobs were created in retail trade, healthcare, social assistance, transportation, warehousing, and utilities. So, hey, the economy keeps rocking and rolling. Also today, Canada, right? We saw a little shock to the market. The Canadian economy grew by 0.8% in the first quarter of 2023, bouncing back from a stall in the previous period and well above market estimates of a 0.4% expansion. So the result overshot the Bank of Canada's forecast that growth would remain weak. We were just talking about that a few weeks ago, right? Will remain weak throughout the whole year, adding leeway for resumption of its tightening cycle should inflation remain stubbornly elevated. All right, so we saw a little bounce in the CAD today. Oil still down though, right? Over I think 11% for the month of May, right? So a little back and forth there with the Canadian dollar. So lots going on. Click out of here and check out the Forex Factory. And for Thursday, which is the first, everybody, we're already into June. We've got the CPI flash estimate for the Eurozone. We've got core CPI coming through. Okay, we know that core CPI, right, is the one that we're definitely want to pay close attention to, as well as it strips out some things that are more volatile. And then we've got the ECB President Lagarde speaking tomorrow. That's always important. And then we've got private sector jobs for the United States with the ADP non-farm employment change, and then unemployment claims coming through. And we also have ISM manufacturing PMI. So lots and lots of important data coming out tomorrow that we definitely need to be aware of. We actually have another FOMC member speaking tomorrow as well. That's going to be pretty interesting for me, at least, because there's been some mixed messages coming out, right? A lot of back and forth on whether or not they're going to go 25 basis points or pause rates here in the United States. We'll see what happens, what the rhetoric is tomorrow from Hawker, especially after saying they were going to have the ADP, and then on the heels of everything that came out with the jobs open. So we shall see. This the Swiss National Bank Chairman Jordan spoke today. I haven't had a chance to catch up. Ryan, have you read anything today? I know you had a busy day today too.
Probably. No, I didn't get a chance to take a look at the comments on that one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what comes out of that. especially everything that's been going on with the banking situation, which they seem to have under control. So we shall see. And then, of course, on Friday, right, always the big show, first Friday of the month, we have the non-farm employment change, unemployment rate, average hourly earning. So it's going to be key, right? Because we know we have another meeting in June for the central bank. So we shall see. That is it on the home front there with fundamentals. Clicking over to the dollar, right? As a result, and you can see that the dollar has pushed right bullish all the way back up to that level, right? Trying to get back to test that right tip of the crown, okay, to see what happens. So right now, this week, it's kind of been bearish to neutral, right? After picking up steam for the last few weeks here. So that right there, be interesting to see what type of turn it takes, right? We needed to break out in one direction or the other, and we may have the fundamental catalyst coming up to make that happen. So that's where we are on the U.S. dollar. Here's that daily look at that breakout, right? There's been a lot of discussion on that. And we see we're testing this daily level here, right? So it's a matter, do we break out and go back and retest this level, this weekly resistance level, or do we hold and do we stall and turn over, right? Nobody knows, but we'll see. That's a 1 hour look on the fib. It's just moving sideways, right? That's rough, right? That's rough. Got 382 though, but that's tough trading right there. So we'll continue to keep an eye on the U.S. dollar. Any questions on fundamentals or the dollar in general? All right. I have to get caught up. Super busy today. I have to get caught up on what's going on with Congress and this debt deal. I'm hearing that they believe they have the votes on the other side to pass it. I know there's a lot of Republicans in this case that's not too happy about it, about the deal that was struck, but we'll continue to see what's going on. I don't have anything
I
updated
believe
on
it's
that.
supposed to be going to a vote tonight.
Oh, is it tonight? Okay,
I
so they're
believe it's
still there.
tonight. Yeah.
They're still there putting in work.
Yeah.
All right, so that we definitely want to keep on the lookout for that, because that can come in the wee hours of the night. Yeah, setting up for the final vote tonight. I'm looking at this now. Democrats join with GOP to advance that deal, setting the final vote tonight. So I'll definitely be keeping my eyes on that throughout the night tonight. So we will see what happens and how that impacts the dollar. So that's that. Let's dive into the charts, right? So the first one we're gonna look at is the infamous Swiss yen. That took its time, but hey, we got some price action, which I don't know what's going on with my 1 hour chart. My markup disappeared again, right? Disappeared again. So let me. Yeah, it's weird. That is weird. What's going on? So we running off the low. I guess we got to run it back, but pretty much know where it's at. All right, here we go. Off the 1 hour, 80-20 there, and took all my levels away and everything. Close that out. Well, we're finally getting that price to reverse, right? This is off the 1 hour play. This is pretty much at TP1. That's the way it was set up. So really good move to the downside. And based on that 4 hour, right, we know we have some more downside potential, maybe a pullback or so. I think this one may take that ride to the TP2 level. So it's an even bigger move off the 4. So here's that TP2. So took its time, it moved sideways for a bit, but now we totally collapsed, right? So out of that zone is over 200 pips to the downside, right? So patience pays, right? Don't have to go far to look back to see that the market likes to do the same thing over and over and over. Over and over and over again. So that was a good play. Congrats to everybody who took that position and held that position and may still be holding that position, looking for more downside momentum on the Swiss yen. So great work for those of you who were able to play that, whether it's in your demo or live account, doesn't matter. It's all about the process. Any questions on that Swiss yen so far?
Nope.
No?
What does that look like on the 4-hour fit, bro?
On the 4, yeah, on the 4, let me zoom it out. See if I can at least get that back. I think that was still active like this. So this is what I mean, like still has quite a ways, right? When you talk about that 4-hour, if it's going to continue its decline, especially if we come through that daily support level at 152.33. So it has the ability to be a major move, right? But we're back in the buy zone here on the 4, which hey, kind of makes sense, right? We're coming to a 382 on the 1. So this one can be a huge monster swing, right? So we can't be surprised if we see pullbacks and continuations, right? As we know that the market moves in waves, it's not going to go straight up or straight down. But you could get some momentum, right? Either way, depending on how these numbers come out towards the end of the week, the jobs numbers, payrolls numbers, things like that could drive it faster in either direction. But that's where we are now. So far, so good, right? We know that if we do and we do bounce at some point and we pull back, you could potentially have a crown situation as we storm through the lows. See, wherever that decides to settle, if we decide to get a pullback and a correction, then we might go. Right? So something to think about there for the future, right? As you look to forecast. Maybe we tap that support first here at 152.33. If it holds, then it'll start looking for, that corrective action. But right now, right, it's moving in our direction in our favor. So it's been a pretty good play. Did anyone have any issue with the audio this morning? It was good on my end this morning. Ryan's in this morning.
Yeah, that I'm not sure what happened. I haven't had a chance to investigate it yet, but the audio on the recording didn't come out. Audio on the recording didn't come out. Yeah, so I apologize for that. I'll make sure that it's still going forward.
Yeah, thanks for the heads up on that. Was that David? Yeah, David. Appreciate it. Yeah, I didn't know that because I was on there live, so sound was pretty good throughout. That's got to be a Zoom issue, maybe. Yeah. Don't know. So
no, I think it's the other platform that I'm using in the morning.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, it's all good. So that's the Swiss yen. That's working out pretty good. This Euro CAD, man, that CAD news blew my little counter chin trade up. So stopped out on that. But it headed in the direction of the overall move, right? So it pushed down. Well, it's kind of giving a little bounce back now. But we know that it has more downside potential on that Euro CAD. Is looking to try to play the counter move on a pullback, but no cigar. We couldn't get it to come back. So I can take this idea off now. We do have a new AB boundary. So that stinks, right? Made out good on a lot of other pairs, but this one didn't work out. So it continued to push down. So that's a stop out there on that one. And now we have a new AB boundary on this EuroCAD as a result, right? So we'll see if we can get the pullback, right? And then the continuation down. I mean, it followed the inner to outer trend line. It was just looking for a correction before it made its way to the outer trend line, but we didn't get it, right? So that's a stop out there. Here's that daily 382 target to the downside, right? So that initial move was good, right? And I don't know, anybody still holding a short on this 80-20?
It's all picked out.
Yeah, I got out of it too, and then I was gonna try to play that pullback because I thought we were definitely gonna get a reaction, but maybe if it pulls back on this one, it won't play the counter, especially if it reverses off that B boundary. But if it gives me a high price, then I'll be looking potentially short to see if we can get that 382 off of that. So see if we can get a deeper correction. Overall, long-term bullish on the Euro CAD, but we're in an up retracement zone. So just looking for a deeper retracement on it. So so we'll see. So I kind of gave back a little bit of that initial downside move that I caught on the short for the Euro CAD, and part of it back on that loss, but it's all good. So that's where we are there. We'll see what happens on if we get a correction there. So a lot of times you do. When you don't get a correction on that initial fib, that next one comes back, it gives you a pretty high correction. So we shall see. We shall see on the Euro CAD. But any questions on that?
Nope.
All right. Good, because I don't want to get all up in my feelings on that one. I thought I was about to hit the pay dirt on that pullback, but no cigar. So I'm gonna move on past this one quickly. This dollar yen scenario. Right, we're getting the price action. We're getting the price action that we want. Right, it's coming down. Right, you have to just stay patient, and it's making its move slowly but surely. Right, it's amazing how those yen crosses end up in the same position oftentimes. So we've got the pullback there. This is the 1 hour level here. See that? See how we didn't get that D extension on this fib and we U-turn? Right? So it's kind of like, hey, as long as price doesn't take out the A, it has no choice but to go your way when we're playing it with the trend. Kind of the same thing with the counter trend. If it doesn't take out that D extension at 1618, has a high probability of turning around. And so you can see where, yes, you have some drawdown. We're swing trading. We're not trying to nail it with pinpoint accuracy unless you like playing off the trend line breaks and things like that. But trade small, let it do its thing, work out your risk, and we got the U-turn. So out of that zone, right, we're down just over 100 pips there to the downside off to the drawdown. So out of that zone, price drew down. Was that close to 80 pips? And now it's back up. So closing in on this 1 hour target one, depending on what chart you're playing the wave. It's working out pretty good to the downside. So that makes me feel a little bit better. Any questions on the dollar yen? So, hey, we may be eventually get back bullish on the dollar, but we still need a low price, right? Nothing's changed in regards to the monetary policy for the yen and the Bank of Japan. It's just, this is how the market moves, right? It moves in waves. So if you're looking to trade this with the trend, you want to make sure that you get a nice low price, take your shot, right? Play your sweet spots. That's that on the dollar yen. And then of course, right, with these dollar crosses, right? We just talked about it with the vote coming up tonight on the debt sale. So let's go to the Euro JPY was another one that we've been following and tracking as a group, right? They were all kind of sitting up high, and you can see here as we come in on the 1 hour chart, right? We came right at that 118 and we flipped. Boom. All right. So down to the 382. Okay, so off that 118, that is down over 200 pips. Okay. Let's see if we can get a further correction. Right? So even the beautiful thing about understanding the fibs and the Fibonacci sequences, yes, the Euro bullish bias, right? But even when the bulls are out, there comes a point where people take profit, right? Hit certain levels and price corrects and price retraces. And that's what we're mapping out when we're using our fibs. Okay, so counter trend mode, right? On a lot of these pairs, especially these yen crosses, and working out pretty decent. So that's the Euro yen at the 382. If you're looking at waiting on a buy for that, right? See if we can get a deeper correction. See if we can get a deeper correction into our buy zone before we look to get bullish, right? These pairs cycle in and cycle out. Okay, we're in the up retracement zone, and before you know it, if that bullish bias continues on the euro and their data comes out to where, hey, they're going to stay aggressive, you know, and continue to hike rates, do what they need to do to combat inflation. And when we get that low price, we'll look to potentially get long. Any questions on the euro yen?
No.
And my bad, everybody. You guys should have control of your mics. Didn't have everybody set up. Okay. So there we go. Right. So those are the type of setups that we're looking for. The big moves, right? Not necessarily 5 or 10 pips at a time, but big moves. So if you live a busy life, you know, and you need to swing trade, hey, maybe you want to be that day trader, that scalper, but time just doesn't win for you to do that. Then this is another option for you, and it works out really well on most occasions, right? You can see on the EuroCat, we don't win every trade, right? They don't all go our way, but we ran a pretty high percentage of the positions that we take, so definitely happy about that. The CAD yen, we're looking at some of these yen crosses. Check and follow up. So this one came in, right? And we nailed that 382 off the daily. This is a long daily move. And now you can see how we're getting a reaction off that 382. Okay. So here was that daily 382 level, that 103.626. And right on the money, we formed a new AB boundary and we're getting a correction there. Okay. So we're turning over. We're turning over. May not look to short the B boundary. That's okay. But if you're trading with that trend, right, then you're looking to say, you know what? Can I get a low price and move higher? Can I get a low price and then look to move higher off the zone like that? So just be patient, right? Be patient. Let the trade setups come to us. Right? And you can see here on a 1 hour, you can't beat it. See? So you got a larger wave on your 4, okay? Move up to a daily 382. So you can see no matter what the time frame, we're looking at the same thing. Daily 382. You come down to the 4 hour larger wave, you got an AB boundary off the correction. On your 1 hour, that same correction is in the 80-20 zone. So when you find the zone, no matter what that time frame, you can play it. Now, I think that's amazing, being able to find that pattern consistently, no matter what the time frame, right? So think about that. You had an 80-20 reversal on a daily to the upside. And when we came into that target on your 1 hour, we have an 80-20 in the opposite direction, looking to get back to a low price. It's literally the same thing over and over. Okay. If we can find the patterns consistently, it gives us a better chance to make money consistently. Right? Now we know your risk management and your trade psychology plays a big role in that. Okay. Because it took me, not gonna lie, it took me a while to be able to sit in trades and let them float, right? And to buy into that. Right. So we know this is not an overnight thing. Right. And don't feel like you're the only one if you're struggling with that part of the game. Because we struggled with it too. You know, we struggled with the patience too, and buying into and believing in, you know, the setups, you know, and the patterns that we're identifying. So it takes a while, you know, but you can shorten the learning curve and compress time frames by making sure that you spend the time on the charts when you can and get the repetition in. Okay, whether you're live or in demo, right? Doesn't matter. Get the reps, and the more you see it, the more comfortable you become. Okay, so that's where we are. Right? So we got an opportunity there. We see if we get back to a 382 on the CAD. Yeah, identify the setups, work out your risk, right? Trade the setup. Questions on the CAD? Yeah. No.
No.
All right. All right. So from some of our folks, is this helping? Is this really helping you guys to see it? Oh, I know it helped me to see it happening over and over and over again in the market, to where it really allowed me to filter out all of the other things that I was seeing. You know, different strategies, different. You know, it really helped me to kind of filter those things out and say, you know what, I need to stick to these zones. If I stick to these zones over time, I'm gonna have an it. You know, then I had to get my risk management in. Once I got that in line, you know, it was off to the races. Because just think about it. If you can identify these locations consistently, you already know that, hey, you're not gonna win every trade, you don't win the market. But if you consistently find the setups and you plan when you see them, you got an edge. That means that over time, it just becomes almost like a printing machine, right? Where if I can consistently find these setups and I play my risk management right, over time, I have the opportunity to accumulate wealth. And there's really no stopgap. It's all up to me. Right? I just have to let the system work. So that's been our journey. That's what we've been on the hunt for, is getting to that level of consistency and then helping other people in our group do the same thing. Right. So if you plan to trade with your prop firm, or if you're in a challenge, first of all, if you're using this methodology and you're swing trading, you want to make sure that you find a prop firm that gives you ample amount of time, not 30 days, which in essence is 20 trading days. It's only 20 trading days in a month. Think about that, right? So those for this type of style, those might not be the ones, right? Unless you're trading on the lower time frame, you know, and you have the ability to do that. But for the majority of people, make sure that you have ample time, especially if you can't spend, you know, a lot of time on the lower time frames, 5-minute, 15-minute chart, things like that. Okay. So it's only a matter of time, right? If you get your strategy aligned, your risk management aligned, your psychology aligned, and then you end up, that's the route you want to go, with a prop that gives you the right amount of time for your system to work, then it's only a matter of time for you to pass it. Just have patience, right? Because we're teaching you how to accumulate pips, right? That's why we always say, learn how to catch the pips consistently and the money will come. Okay. So, because a lot of those targets that they want you to hit, right, for the props that give you ample time, you can hit that target, you know, trading 10, 20 cents, you know, for some of the targets that they want you to hit, right, with a lot of the profits. Now, the ones that are super short term and want, you know, 10% in 20 days, 30 days, not so much. But for the ones that are different, you can walk yourself right through those levels. So that's it. Ryan, anything to add to that?
No, that's right on time, bro. The other thing I'd say is, for those that do want to become the traders that do trade on the lower time frame, I think it's extremely important, extremely valuable to learn the patience of swing trading.
Mm-hmm.
That'll help you ingrain those habits of waiting on your rules to come into play. So I think it's valuable to learn how to swing trade and then walk your way into becoming that shorter term, shorter duration trader, if that's what you ultimately desire to do. So what we teach falls right in line with being able to do that, develop that patience and that psychology to be able to move to that level.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, right? Because we're looking on some of those, they're like, you know, hit $500, right? You got 12 months to make $500. Well, I mean, we're finding 100 and 200 pip setups, right? 100 and 200 pip setups. So if we're looking at 200 pip moves just off the 380, just off the 127 zone, 118, 127 zone back to the 382. I mean, if you're trading that at a dime at 200 pips, that's $20, right? So what is that? How many trades you need on that? 50, right? Like 25 or whatever. So something like that to get to where you need to get to where you need to go, right? I said 50, that's at $10, right? So, I mean, you can really do it and you can have stellar risk management. 200 pip move, 100 pip move, right? Yeah, that's a diamond. Yeah, that's $10, but that's 50 trades, right? It's 50 trades. Of course, you're gonna lose, but I'm just saying, just flat out raw numbers, right? You can get there, but it requires you to be patient, right? And then you start to build on that as you move through the levels. So yeah, lots of things you could do with these type of setups. Let's go to the I was looking at today. Just continuing with the pound Aussie. You said facts for sure, right? You think about it. You put it. If you go back and you look at your trading, and you look at it in a period of time, like trading with other methodologies, you might look at your trades and say, like, man, I took 120 trades, took 115 trades, and you're like, well, where am I at after all those trades? Whereas if you swing trade it, we always say you're going to trade less, but you can actually make a lot more progress. So this move here, right, continued to move higher, right? Right. So look at that, right? We got the correction, and then we look to move higher. So off of these large swings like this, right? It's not a matter of finding a brand new trade. It then becomes a matter of looking for opportunities to add to my position, right? To add to my position that I'm already long, right? Like here, because fundamentally, nothing's changed when you look at these two currencies. Nothing's changed. So just like that, right? We know these pound pairs can move. So just like that, right? We're on our way to our target. We got a big 192 level coming up here. That's a monthly level that we need to get through. But that the extension in the grand scheme of things, and when you look at how far that pair has moved now, not too far to go. Right? It's already moved the majority of the way at this point. Okay. So we'll see what happens. We need to take out this high and test this 192.16 level. If we break through that, then we're off to the races to that D extension. Okay. So that's the pound Aussie. Any questions on that?
No.
Okay. You can see you didn't have to be sitting in front of your computer for 8 hours for this price action to occur. Right? You did your homework during the weekly ritual. All right. You did your homework. You saw the potential setups. Okay. Make the play. Pound CAD. Right. This one after the news today, what type of correction that we get? It just moves sideways, right? For the most part. Yeah. So we're moving a little sideways after the Canadian, right? The better than expected data that came out. So it's just moving sideways, but you can see, right? The genesis of the move here. And we're moving up. All right. So already out of this zone, right? Where we at now? That's 145 pips, 186 pips at its highest. So if you're trading now that's combined with all of these other setups that we're looking at. Right? So if you traded that at 10 cents at its highest point, right, you were up $18 already. You see? So if your target, for your profit is $500 first level, depending on which one you do, you can see how following the process and really focus on catching pips, right? How fast 10 cents, 20 cents can accumulate. Right? Everybody get where I'm going with that? Drop me a one in the chat. All right. Because this is important because it applies to your own money as well, right? So think about how a lot of people come into the game. They're trying to take $200, $300, and they're trying to flip it. And what do most people do? They over leverage. Right? They over leverage, right? Because they haven't found a strategy and a way to approach trading to where you can collect pips at a lower risk. So you have a $300 account and you're trading at $2 and $3 a pip, trying to catch 5 and 10 pips, right? And your account ends up going the other way on you. Right? Where if you learn and you work hard and learn how to swing trade and follow this process, you got a $300 account and you can be trading at 10 cents, 20 cents, right? And letting your trades run, and you're not putting your account in any major risk. Right? You're not putting your account, I'm trading 10 cents a pip. I'm not putting that $300 at any real major risk. But look at how big the moves are. Right? So somebody tell me, if I made, what is it, 625 pips projected? If I've got $300 and I make, call it a flat $62 on this trade, if it hits that extension, I'm trading at a dime and I make $62. What did I just make on that $300? What percent did I just make? Okay. What's my return on that move? Got $300. I increase it by $62. What percentage is that? That's right. That's right. I mean, 20%. Think about that. Think about what you see out there, what's being said, what's being projected. 20%, right? Now, people will tell you, right, if you could just get 2% a month, let's put this in perspective. If you could get 2% a month consistently, right? I decided to trade 0.02 on 2 entries, 1.01 and made 22. There you go. There you go. Right? Telling you, when I'm outside walking, I look at those pennies on the ground, totally different. Ever since I started trading, those pennies add up. I recycle those cans up here in Michigan, for sure. So, yeah. You used to always over leverage on gold. A lot of people do. A lot of people do. People get blown up on gold, for sure. But that's just, putting it all in perspective, everybody. And that's why Ryan always says, give yourself some grace, give yourself time. Because once you learn it, once you get it, you got it. And it's worth it. It becomes an amazing skill at that point. Right? That you can walk away and go spend time with your family and do whatever you want to do and be making money on the back end. I learned that skill. So that's where we are on the pound CAD. Any questions on that? It's going to be interesting to see how that flows with that CAD data that came out. Cool. I was wondering if that was going to get a bigger correction, that CAD, but it didn't. It held its ground. So see if we can get that continuation long on that. Let's take a look at gold, because we were looking at that last night and we know that it was starting to settle down, and you can see that we're starting to get a little pump here, right? Down a little bit in the Asian session, but is definitely trying to move in that upward direction. So we'll see how that continues to play. Here's that move that got spotted last night at 82. Who was that last night? They called that out. Get a shout out on that. Is that is it JC? Yep, that's what I thought. Good job, right? Saw that, hey, we got an 80-20 here on the floor. Awesome job, right? And now we got a trend line break. So we got a trend line break and a little trickle up. Let's see how it plays out. Super cautious with the gold with this. You got private sector job numbers coming up for the US. You got non-farm payroll on Friday. Gold can really react to that data. So it's gonna be interesting to see. Be nice. Go ahead and get that 382 at least on this 4 hour. That'd be a huge move for gold. So continue to watch out for that. Oil, right? Just continuing down, I believe 11% is what the article said, if I'm not mistaken, for the month of May. But it makes sense, right? It's playing right into that swing. Right? Makes sense to us, right? It's down 11%. It's an ABCD move. Okay, we want to see it. We want to see it, right? Play out. Okay. Go ahead and get that D extension. Okay. Come on down. Continue to short. But I think it will pull back. Yeah, I definitely can see that pulling back, especially with those reports still lingering out there that we don't know what those numbers are going to look like yet. But it'll definitely it definitely has the ability to pull back for sure. But it can be a rocket ship sometimes too off of those reports, especially that non-farm payroll. So continue to watch out for that. Moving up, I want to look at some of these New Zealand players because the New Zealand dollar has been taking a beating. So I want to look at this CAD because some of them, right? Just keep an eye. Use additional confirmation for sure on these. Did I lose this chart too? I think I did. My goodness. All right. Moving down. It's still sitting there on the 1, so go to the 192. But here we go on the 4. All right. So it's been moving down quite a ways, and we're coming into that zone. So we're going to need, all right, here's the support here at 8105. Okay, so we're looking to see how that comes into play. But it's been getting beat up pretty bad. All things must come to an end, at least temporarily, for a correction. So we have to make the decision whether or not we want to take a shot at the correction if it's in our zone, or if we want to wait for it to pull back and then continue its bearish narrative. But that right there is going to be pretty enticing. I want to see it come into that 8106 level. Right? To see if we get a hang up and see if we can get the reversal back to the 382. All right, so right here. Okay. Back to that 382. So if we can get that pop off that level back there, that's another 260 pips or so, depending on where you take it. Okay. Well, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, right? We know we got that CAD data that gave it the push to the downside. We know that it's been weak. It's been a poor performer, the New Zealand dollar, as a result of their monetary policy and what was said in the rate statement. But we know that the market moves in waves, so we would like to see a correction. See if we can get price to correct into the zone and then move back up. Same thing. Over and over and over and over. Okay. So there we go. That's going to be one. We need to put Discord, like so. Okay. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll keep that on the 4 hour. That's a nice clean look there for that support. Any questions on the NZD CAD? Okay. As always, you got multiple options. All right, appreciate it. As always, you got multiple options, right? If you're saying, hey, I like the bearish narrative on the New Zealand dollar, then wait for your high price and look at this. Right? Not look to play that to the counter. All right, so there we go on the NZD CAD. I want to take a look at this NZD Swiss. Okay. This one is still hanging out. All right, just can't quite get the momentum, but it's still hanging out there, right? So when you see it start to push past, right, that 80-20 zone, know that, hey, I've got room, right? I don't have to be so anxious, right? If I haven't taken that setup yet, right, I don't have to be anxious. I can just wait, right? There's 100 pips. I can afford for that to push up and show some bullish momentum with a pullback, right? So a move to the upside in the correction, because it's the lower it pushes, the further away it moves away from the target, which that's cool as long as we get that reversal that we want. But that just gives us more room to be patient, to wait for a move in a correction, if that makes us feel more comfortable about taking a position, right, to the upside. But we want to see something like that. Will it happen? We don't know. We don't control the market, but that's hanging around that zone pretty good. Let me see what it looks like on this floor. There we go. So we're looking at right, just about to that 382. So this is the leg right here. And we're looking for this move, this here. Like that. Off the sub on the 4. Right, so this is our main fib on the 1, really. But then it's a sub on the 4. That's the same zone. That huge impulsive move. Oftentimes the market likes to take a nice percentage of that back. Right? That's straight down. Any pullback, no wave really on this leg. Right. So it makes sense after a huge bearish push like this for it to stall. Okay. And at some point, either the bulls or bears are going to take them. We want to see if we can get in position. Right. Any questions on that NZD Swiss? Just be patient. No rush. Got other setups going in your favor right now. All right. You need to jump in. This NZD JPY. Take a look at this. This one is still, right, just moving. Look at that. Look at that. Took it out. Took out our A, everybody, off that 80-20. Monster move, right? So out of that zone, right, we come down. Look at that. Almost 170. 236. It's 340 through the A boundary and TP3, right? So we drew that trend line over top and said, hey, it's not breaking that trend line, it's going to continue short. And that's exactly what it's doing. And it still hasn't settled down quite yet. So it's getting beat up. If you look at it from the higher time frame, right, we could potentially have more downside momentum on that. Not necessarily. I didn't see that zone there at 83.40. 83, what is that? 83, 84. Be interesting to see if it breaks back above that. It's overextended. All right. It's oversold. So we may get a correction soon, but that's been a crazy move to the downside there. Off the high. Interesting to see if we can get a break back above that zone. Okay. That'll break this down trend line for a swing. But we'll be patient with it. See what happens. But that's a colossal move right there. That's what you want to see. Right? It pushed up. And that zone is amazing, right? look how bullish price was. And then it starts to struggle in that 80-20 zone, right? It even tried it again to continue to push long. And it eventually stalled out in that 80-20 zone and gave us a monster correction to the downside. It's amazing. And the timing is unbelievable with a lot of these setups, right? Technically, it was in the zone. Then you had the fundamental data come out. They hike rates, I think about a 25 basis points, if I remember, and then say, hey, that's putting it on pause, right? So when it comes to the hikes, and then this is what happened. Yeah, straight to the downside. So beautiful, beautiful play. Right. So that's the New Zealand yen. The dollar CAD. Want to take a look at this as a result of the price action today, right? So we got it to pull back a bit, see what happens when it tests this 135.53 level. But overall, that's still bullish, right? That's still bullish. So let's see if it holds and then continues long to the target, right? We were closing in on it before the CAD data came out, and now we're moving down for a correction. Let's say sub 50, right? So maybe a correction in the zone and then a continuation. Long, we'll see, right? But it's moving in waves like we expect. So let's continue to watch that dollar CAD. Any questions on the dollar CAD? No. All right. Hey, good month, right? We can tell a lot of people are learning. A lot of people are starting to turn the corner with their trading. Right, so it's been a fascinating 6 months of the year so far, or 5 months, right? Going into month 6. Here is the dollar Swissy on the 4-hour. Right. Look at that. Can't make this stuff up. Okay. Straight to that 382. That's where we are. We're not to this 4-hour D extension yet, so we look for a correction and then a continuation. See if we can keep that bullish momentum. Right, some of you might be out of this setup, targeting that daily 382. Nice play, really nice play. All right, so out of that 61.8 zone so far, okay, up almost 200 pips, that might be enough. Totally up to you. It's a win. Okay. All right. Any questions on any of the pairs that we covered this evening?
Benny, did you cover JPY?
I did not. Let's take a look at that, because I know that was kind of doing the dance, right? All over the place, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was moving bullish, but I did not cover that. Let's take a look at it. What is it doing? Turning over a bit. Yep, it's doing the dance on us. All right. So that's still that crown off the 4-hour. Got a good lift. Right. And now we're just kind of ranging a bit. All right. But we're back in the buy zone on that 4. So maybe we settle down here at this low and continue long. I would love to see that finish out at the extension. Everything's been long against the yen for the most part. This one's kind of been a laggard, right? When you look at the rest of them and how they took off, but we know that the Aussie dollar has been weak, so that kind of makes sense. But even it was still making momentum, to the upside against the yen. So you're not dealing with the 2 strongest currencies right now, really, right? So, and then everything else got kind of knocked out. All my charts. That's what it is. So, right, here we are here. Stochastic is slowly moving back into that buy zone. Right. So you can see we've been moving up. Right. We took out a low here. Right, but it's a little complex, but you're making higher highs and higher lows. And this is just sideways. Took out the low, but it's moving sideways. Right? So I at least want to see if we can get that momentum to move back up to that extension. That was the original play I had on it. But we'll see. What type of look do you have on that? You playing it the same way, or you're just kind of sitting on the sidelines on where you look at something?
I'm looking at it more from the 15-minute too. So
from the 15. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, when it starts moving back and forth like that, it creates a few different scenarios. You know, it was all smooth for a little while, right? You had your 80-20 move back down to the zone. That was a beautiful play, but then it's kind of just been all over the place from there. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm just not a big you know, not a big fan of the yen strength. I think it's more, you know, profit taking on that yen when we see those 80-20 swings and like that, like we're seeing. Prices are high, you know, in the dump off, especially you got end of the month and everything. It's last day of the month. But just because of that monetary policy, I'm not too high on yen strength. That could change. That could change. So, but that's what I have on it though so far. So we'll see. Thanks for bringing that up because I hadn't looked at that in a while. That Aussie yen. So that's that. What'd you say? I'm sorry.
No, I was saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome. So that's really all I have for this evening. I will. Let me before we close. I want to take a look at this Euro USD. Matter of fact, just bounce to see what's going on. I did want to look at that one to see. So it's still hovering below that TP2 level. It actually pushed lower. Wow. Wow. Nice correction there. Yep. All right. So I wanted to take a quick look at that. But that's another 80-20. All right. It's another 80-20 out of the zone. That's a huge move. All right. Took his time at his low point. It was 440 pips or so out of that zone. Wow. It's been a nice move. Friday, well, tomorrow with some data coming out, and Friday will be important. We'll see which way price wants to move. We'll play it accordingly on the Euro USD. All right, that's it. Right. Anything to add before we wrap things off?
No, sir. Great session, man. Appreciate it as always.
For sure. Hey, we'll be back tomorrow, 6:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for the pre-New York session. We'll go over some other pairs that we didn't cover. Until then, everybody, have a great night. Continue to be patient, work hard.
Thank you. Great session.
Thank you.
Welcome.